Hello, my name is Camille Campbell, and I'm here with my colleague Javier Solis. And today we're going to be walking you through some of the values of evolving your existing wired or wireless edge with Extreme's universal platforms. And just in terms of format today, I'm going to quickly walk through a couple of slides, and then Javier is going to go through a demonstration of some of the new cloud management features we have related to our universal switching portfolio. So to kick things off, I wanted to first introduce what we mean by universal platforms. And essentially, universal platforms represent Extreme's next generation edge technology that really combine the power of cloud management with multi-use case platforms that can adapt to support new use cases or new technologies. And the whole idea around universal is just to bring some additional flexibility and additional investment protection across our wired and wireless portfolio. Universal is much more than about the platforms. It's also around simplifying some of the deployment experience. It's really about simplifying and streamlining how we order the products, how we do licensing, also providing a single consistent warranty offer that can be complemented by top-ranked services and support. And it's important to note that this combination of technologies is really about enabling scalable distributed connectivity to support the infinite enterprise. So one of the biggest benefits that we have with our universal platforms is that ability to support multiple different deployment use cases with just a single hardware platform. So for example, in a wireless environment, if you were deploying a locally managed Wi-Fi solution and you wanted to evolve to cloud, that would generally mean buying a brand new AP. With Universal, you have the flexibility to preserve that existing investment in that AP and change your deployment scenario simply by changing the operating system that's running on the AP. In addition, with switching, we also support multiple deployment models. We support a traditional network infrastructure, a fabric network infrastructure, and then across wired and wireless, we're giving your choice of management, whether you want to manage your infrastructure locally, whether you want to go straight to the cloud, or whether you're looking to do a combination of both. So one of the things also related to Universal is we've really tried to simplify and streamline how we do SwitchOS licensing. So one of the first things we did is we brought consistency across our enterprise switching portfolio. So now across Exos and VOS, you have a consistent licensing strategy where the majority of the features are within the base software. And to activate certain advanced features, you would turn on a premium license. And then we also have a MaxSec activation license as well. One of the things that's new is that we're making license activation a lot simpler by using Extreme Cloud IQ. And Javier is going to show you a demonstration of this a little bit later. The other thing we've also introduced is portability. So you can choose to move a Premier license from one switch to another within the Universal product portfolio. You can also activate multiple licenses to multiple switches at the same time. In terms of management licenses, we also are introducing the same flexibility and simplicity as well. So with Extreme Cloud IQ, our pilot licenses are completely transferable. You can transfer a license from a switch to an AP, back to a switch. And then one of the things that's also very unique is the fact that it's just one price to manage any kind of device, whether it's a core switch, an edge switch, or an AP. And then one of the things that's new is we're introducing consolidated licensing. So it's one license, whether you want to manage your infrastructure on-prem, whether you connect to the cloud, or whether you go straight to the cloud. Again, with Universal, we have brought about a consistent warranty offer across our wired and wireless portfolio. And one of the things that's new is in addition to doing hardware RMAs for the lifetime of the product, we're also doing software updates and upgrades for the life of the product as well. And really, this slide just summarizes what you can gain from our universal strategy related to our switching portfolio. From the factory, the XOS operating system is the default operating system that will come up at deployment. And deploying an XOS edge gives you all the values of policy capabilities, fabric attach, stacking, but you also have the ability at deployment to change that network operating system to VOS. And when you do that, you get all the values of the automation and simplicity that come with pushing Fabric Connect right out to the network edge. Then, of course, you have your flexible management and your poolable, portable switch and management licenses. In terms of our portfolio, today we have two families of universal switches, our 5520 series, which was introduced in November of last year. We're also introducing the 5420 series of switches. Those will be generally available in the June timeframe. So with these two product families combined, we're introducing 21 new models to both our XOS and VOS portfolios, giving you way more options in terms of how you want to design your network. In addition, with our APs, again, we're supporting a wide breadth of deployment options with just a single AP. So whether you have a campus deployment, a distributed deployment, whether you want to manage it locally, whether you want to connect to the cloud, or whether you want to go straight to the cloud, again, we support all of those deployment options. And of course, one of the biggest values here is investment protection. So if you want to deploy a locally managed Wi-Fi solution today, but think you might want to go to the cloud sometime in the near future, Universal ultimately gives you the flexibility to do that. The other thing is if you have a mixture of locally managed access points for your main site with a bunch of cloud managed APs for some of your remotes and branches, it provides that consistent quality of experience across your wireless infrastructure. And then just in terms of our wireless access point portfolio for Universal, we do have the 300 series, which is our dual radio APs, and our 400 series, which is our tri-radio APs. We're going into a deep dive session on wireless here at the event. So Javier and I really recommend you guys check out that session. But we do have a number of universal APs, both indoor and outdoor, with the universal attributes now and more coming in the June timeframe. And then of course, Cloud IQ is really the wrapper, and it provides a lot of very interesting functionality for managing our universal platforms. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Javier, who's going to go through a demonstration.
Thanks, Camille. So we're going to jump right into demonstration and show you some of the features and capabilities that Camille had mentioned. So we're going to look at a 5420 switch here that's been onboarded to Extreme Cloud IQ, and we're going to look at the capabilities of being able to change the network operating system. So in the case that Camille stated, default, the switch will come up with the XOS operating system. But if you choose to use, say, Fabric Connect, you can simply select a device and go actions, and you can change the OS to VOS. So once you select that, message will be prompted, and it'll tell you that the device is going to be rebooted and the existing configuration will be wiped, and you have the ability to then push down a template configuration from Extreme Cloud IQ. So the other thing that happens in the background is you will get the latest image that will get downloaded to the switch during this process. So when the device comes up, you'll be ready to go with the latest image. So we're going to go ahead and say no to that because we also want to show you the features and capabilities of being able to manage your feature device level licenses. So again, it's as easy as selecting the device, going to the actions, and you can simply do an activate and or revoke a Premier or MACsec license for your universal hardware platforms. So again, you can apply a license and then later on move the license if you wish through the revoke action as well. So we're going to pivot over and show you some more capabilities that come along with managing your infrastructure within Extreme Cloud IQ. So typically what we like to see as network administrators is a list of all of your devices. But what's more important is how you can troubleshoot when a user calls in that may have an issue, or you want to look at the details of a particular client and how that client is behaving. So what we can do is we can actually go over to clients, and we can actually see not only our wireless clients, but where our wired clients are and what switch that they're attached to. So we'll go ahead and click on this particular wired client. It's connected to port 3. So that brings you right up into the device 360 view of the particular switch that client is connected to. So you can see a device statistics for traffic over time in an aggregated format. You have the ability to change the time range as well if you'd like. And then you can see things like CPU, memory, MAC table utilization, power consumption, fan and PoE status of that particular switch. Now, what we can also do is we can go over and pivot into our diagnostics and take a look at how much bandwidth is being consumed on a per port basis. So remember, we clicked on that client that was on port 3. So what we can do is deselect all our ports, and we can actually select a particular port and look at the bandwidth consumption for that particular device attached to that particular port. And then what we can do is we can aggregate additional details for particular traffic for more ports as we wish to take a look to see how much bandwidth is being consumed across one port or multiple ports of your switch. Now, if you don't see a particular issue with that switch that the user is connected to, we also have the capability to go in and look at our Network 360 monitoring capabilities for our not only our access points, but switches as well. So one of the things that our customers really love is the rich data that's collected that comes into Extreme Cloud IQ to be able to, again, troubleshoot not only at a single device, but through multiple devices. So this is just a quick view of the richness of data that we collect for our access points. And within the June timeframe, you'll also be able to see this for switches. So we can pivot over to our switches and look at all of the aggregated information that we could view at a single device level across all of our switches to this particular location. So in this case, I'm looking at aggregated data for 10 switches. So again, this includes all of the switches that are part of that client that's connected to one switch, but may have interconnected switches attached. So you can see, again, CPU, memory, PoE. So you can see your hardware health statistic, scoring for all of your devices. You can look and see that we actually have pending configuration that needs to be pushed to 2 out of our 10 switches in that location. We can also see that we are running older firmware across some of the switches as well. We can also collect information about media health or errors on a particular port over a time range. So if we see if and if out errors for a particular switch, we're going to provide a health score for that as well. So again, we can see all of the top CPU memory utilization for all the switches in our location. Again, we can come down and look at the details for the firmware that's running on our switches. So you can see here that we have quite a bit of different firmware running across our switches. So we may have an opportunity here to be able to get all of our switches running on the same stable firmware. And we also have that capability to do that action through Extreme Cloud IQ as well. You can see different port connection speeds as well as average MAC utilization across the switches too. And so again, this is tons of information that can help you troubleshoot that particular client. We can always go back up to our time range and see that a particular switch here, memory cross threshold utilization for this particular switch named EDUC EXOS 6. So this is an indicator that this is a particular switch that we may want to take a look at to see how it's impacting that wired client connectivity. So this wraps up the demo. We'll have more detailed sessions throughout the Extreme Connect in order for you to be able to go and visit. So we'd encourage you to check all of those out. And we appreciate that you've joined and checked us out. And we hope you have a fantastic time with the rest of the event. Thank you.